Okay, so I've decided to make a video um, replying to deconstructing narcissism. Valentine's Day was the other day, but did anyone actually care? I'm doing this on my phone. I'm reading this from a tablet. The sound doesn't really get picked up when I play the video, so I'm not going to reply to the video itself. And I've been aware of deconstructing narcissism's channel for about a month now, and he seems like a nice enough guy, but I'm calling out falsehoods and delusions, right? And a lack of understanding. So I want to clarify things. So this is not a personal attack, okay? But you are delusional and you've got internet brain rot, like most men, and you're repeating false narratives without thinking about them based on your insecurities and your sub-insecurities, right? So you're just wrong, okay? So, yeah. So I'm actually doing you a favor by correcting you. I know it sounds condescending, but people cling to their ideas and attach their ego to it and get really defensive. Okay? And there's some ideas that are subjective, and there's others that are objective, and there's others where there's a bit of give and take, and there's right and wrong on both sides. You're just wrong on this because you are confused about gender dynamics. You're talking about them on some level because you're a low status male living in your car, or you was living in your car, right? So you're not doing very well economically. So you're deselected. Women don't want you, okay? And I'm not saying that to personally attack you. Women don't want me, right? Women don't want City Crusher. I know plenty. Right? Women don't want plenty of other men, okay? Like if City Crusher or I were like lawyers, if we became hotshot lawyers, our romantic prospects would improve a lot, okay? Because I've noticed, we'll get further into this as I read the comments on your Valentine's Day video. I noticed there seems to be a lot of guys who don't have life experience, or their life experience, they haven't reflected on it, they haven't observed other humans interacting, they haven't thought about it deeply. Okay, so yeah, so your video doesn't impress me very much. You seem very hesitant, you're not very clear, you're very confused, you're not speaking in plain terms about the gender dynamics. Okay, now you don't like Valentine's Day, right? Because you're deselected. Okay, Valentine's Day was the other day, but did anyone actually care? You don't care because you're deselected, but you do care because you made a video about it. I didn't make a video about this. I've never made a video about Valentine's Day even once, right? Okay, I don't like being deselected, right? But I don't want to go into that, right? I don't like it. I've come to terms with my feelings on it. I've reflected on it. I've thought about human nature. Honestly, there's no ego defense in my analysis, right? But I know it's a lot of men who are deselected and low status. They have ego defense. They come up with narratives to cope and soothe their anxieties and to scapegoat and to obfuscate. You're obfuscating. You're not communicating clearly. You might not even realize you're doing this. You're obfuscating yourself. So you don't like Valentine's Day because you're not romantically successful. So therefore you're upset about it, right? And women are more fussy and they're more picky than men are due to female hypergamy. There's a demand imbalance. Men are desperate to be with women, including you, right? No matter what you say, you're putting up a front, okay? You're desperate to be with women. Men are desperate to be with women, but women don't really care. And women have got more status than ever, and they're pushing men out of middle class and upper middle class and professional jobs with status. So more and more men are getting deselected. A working class man with an average job is not good enough anymore, right? They've got to go above and beyond. Like working class men have got to work extra jobs, like 2 jobs. I've noticed this. Like if a man's really overworking and working overtime, then that's just enough to pay the bribe to be with a woman. So I'm going through your comments in your video. I can't. So let's find some. So I'm just going. This is a really low resolution. This is it here. Got on low resolution to keep the file size down, but this is my comment thread. I'm not going to show it, but I'm just showing it exists. 21 hours ago. Why use the term modern woman? So he uses the term modern woman in his video, trying to, he's talking about social media and all that stuff a lot. Why use the term modern woman? Why use the term, female nature hasn't changed since the Ice Age, right? The brain structure hasn't changed, okay? The term modern woman is redundant and it's a tradcon term, by the way. It's a red flag term. You might not even know what a tradcon is, but it's a tradcon term. Women weren't different in the 50s, they weren't different in the 60s, they weren't different in the 70s. The fourth revolution happened well before the computer age, right? When computers became consumer products and the internet happened, right? Okay, so why use the term modern woman? So deconstructing narcissism has gone, women in the modern era, or the women of today, they don't used to be completely like this before social media, hence me explaining the differences before the era of social media, before it took over every facet of our lives. It hasn't taken over every facets of their lives. If you're perpetually online, right, you think it's taken over every facet of your life. It hasn't. Okay? Right? Okay. So someone called Sneaky Snake, if dating apps and social media existed in the day, would your mum still have gotten with your dad? Social media. So I replied to deconstructing narcissism first. Social media did what exactly? Then I replied to Sneaky Snake. Yes, since my dad had a good job, do you know how hypergamy is? It's silly to fixate on social media and scapegoat it. So my dad worked on an oil rig and he earned a lot of money. Okay, back, yeah, and he had an accident and he became disabled, and then my mum dumped him. Right, so he was successful, then actually successful, then he wasn't, then he got dumped. Yeah, my mum's an absolute scumfuck for doing that to him. She's a piece of shit trash, right? But that's hypergamy in action, okay? And she was a left wing woman as well. Like she hated the rich, she hated bankers, she hated capitalism, blah blah blah. But she married a productive, hardworking man, then dumped him when he could no longer perform. Like she discarded him like an object, basically. Hypergamy. It's hypergamy, right? They didn't go on dating app. They don't go on dating apps looking for good guys with good jobs like your dad. And this is complete fucking horse shit. That's his reply, by the way. So I tell him my dad had a good job, and he goes, "No, women don't go on dating apps to look for men with good jobs." Now, first of all, this is a bit non sequitur-ish, a bit of a non sequitur, because women are barely on dating apps, right? Women are barely on dating apps. Dating apps are full of fake profiles. Okay, men outnumber dating apps between like 3-1 on the best sites, 5-1 on the other sites, right? And it's probably even worse. It's probably like 10-1 and 20-1 on the ones with the fake profiles. Okay, this is what is social media got to do with this? So the psychological underpinnings of female nature is selection criteria, high enough status or low enough status. So just observing people in real life and observing human nature and studying human nature and reading up on things, I've just noticed professional men with prestigious careers that's got a stigma attached to it, they find women really fast. So I know pudgy faced, ugly men who get a new girlfriend right away or to get married right away. There's one I know someone of a doctor, got divorced, very bit of divorce, in his 60s now, right? Not good looking, yeah. Got a new wife, new attractive blonde wife in her 30s, really fast, really fast. Yeah, and this is not just my personal anecdote. This is a common pattern I see all the time. Yeah, like and also dating profiles like Plenty of Fish. I'm not sure it's still like this because I haven't checked in years. But when I was checking it out like 10 years ago, women had an income search on their options, men didn't. Okay, so women are not going on dating sites to hook up with bad boys, like men, or ignoring men with good jobs. That's just brain dribble. That's just brain rot nonsense, right? They're not on the dating sites in the fucking first place, right? They're barely on the dating sites. They're barely on the date. They don't care. There's a demand imbalance. Men on dating sites desperate to get with women, right? Women are not on the dating sites, and the few that are just wasting men's time and toying around with them or meeting up to rinse them, right? Women can get men at any time they want. Okay, it's easy for them. It's nothing. Men outnumber women on dating apps 5-1. Women are barely on dating sites. Status is the most important criteria for women in selecting men. You are out of touch with reality. So Sneaky Snake goes, social media are dating apps to them. So he's moved the goalpost to social media, by the way. Okay, it's no different, and my point still stands. It is different, and your point doesn't stand because you didn't make a point. You're a mental defect, sneaky snake, right? You're defective in logic. You don't understand logic. You're thinking emotionally, right? Your dad didn't have to worry about guys from your mum's school, work, past online, or always in their books trying to game hypergamy. Men don't try and game female hypergamy. What the fuck are you on about? I think you're a POA manosphere type. Okay, so women on social media are going to be getting attention from men. The men are not gaming the hypergamy. They're desperate for their attention, right? Okay, and the thing is, women are having less sex than ever, and they're having less relationships than ever. They're deselecting more men than ever. The statistics do not back up your narrative. You're not in reality, right? And men are desperately trying to hook up with women online or get their attention online, interact with them online, and try and meet them in real life, or just interact with them online. They're not trying to gain the hypergamy. Like, what the fuck, right? A lot of these men are be low status men getting ignored by women, right? To pretend the world today is no different is beyond delusional. I never said it was no different. That's a straw man, right? I'm saying female nature hasn't changed, and your obsession with social media is irrelevant. It's a non sequitur, and that's just one factor out of many. Yeah, it's one irrelevant factor out of many, right? Again, it's not complicated. Women are pushing men out of work, pushing them out of higher education. Okay, therefore more men are getting deselected. It's very, very simple, and you're obfuscating it. You didn't make a point. You don't even understand what basic cause and effect is. That's my reply 40 minutes ago. Now, deconstructing narcissism jumps in. I know what hypergamy is. Social media just amplified what already existed in women. Like what? Like what? Doesn't make it make sense. Women are deselecting men. Amplify what? Amplify. If women wanted to get with men, they'll use the social media to get with men. It would make them communicate with them easier, right? It doesn't make sense. Before they had options, like women didn't have options for the internet. What the fuck are you even on about? This is brain rot. Your insecurities are steeping through now. So before the internet, women couldn't like shop around for high status men, hang around social circles, right? Like what? Like what? Look, do you realize how stupid what you're saying is? Like, so middle class women, right? Before the internet, right, right. There's no such thing as internet, therefore I'm going to settle for some random working class guy. Is that how it works? Like what? You're not even making sense, bro. Now they have virtually unlimited options and unlimited validation, so the standards are sky high. No, no, no. If they're deselecting men, the unlimited options don't fucking matter. Jesus Christ. It doesn't make sense. Women are deselecting men. You're being deselected, right? You don't like it and you're not thinking clearly about it. Yeah, you're bitter about it. Yeah? And it's not nice. I'm not personally attacking you over this. I'm not. Okay? I don't like being deselected. You've been set up for, from what I can see, you've been set up for failure by your parents and by society. I've been set up for failure by my mother and by society. And low status men are ignored and shunned, and they don't have social circles, and they're shunned by women. And these men in general, desperately want to be with women and have women in their lives. So it breaks their heart and it upsets them. It torments them. That's the truth. That's the truth, right? And you're looking for some simplistic explanation when an even simpler, better one, right? Hypergamy, hypergamy, yeah. And in countries like it's happening, it's happening all over the world. Every time a country economically develops, women get into education, women get easy, privileged access to prestigious jobs over men. More men get deselected. That is female nature. So famous guy 547 says the only individual failing to make a point is you. Yeah, because you can't understand what I'm saying because you don't want to understand, and you're probably low IQ. Everyone in the niche of YouTube understands hypergamy. No, they don't. You don't understand hypergamy. Social media and dating apps haven't altered women to a new species or changed the underlying nature. It only amplifies certain behaviours through a new medium. And I had other comments that have disappeared. I've had 2 replies that have disappeared. So yeah. So what it doesn't say what behaviours have been amplified. What behaviours have been amplified? What? Like deselecting men? Like it doesn't make sense. The internet exists. Dating sites they barely use exist. Social media exists. Therefore, men women have changed. So What? It doesn't. Like, are they going for bad boys? Are they slutting around and ignoring you? So women use the internet to slut around and go after bad boys and ignore the good, hard-working men with good jobs. Like, is that the narrative? I don't get it. This doesn't make any sense. This is all based on your insecurities. This is solipsism for you. Here's another comment from B Stevie 8292. People are very picky and very shallow on what they want in a relationship. Social media is making it worse. So this obsession with social media and scapegoating it. So, and he's using gender neutral language. He's copping out. He's a coward. Or men do not want to be honest. They don't want to think with clarity about this issue. It's very honest. This is not a This is not a gender neutral issue, right? It's not people. Women are being picky, and indeed selecting men. That's why you're calling it shallow. Men are not turning women down. Men settle. The internet hasn't changed that in men, right? Women don't, right? Women don't, and it's not the internet anyway. Yeah, men are being pushed out of higher education and the workforce, and women are deselecting them. That's the main explanation. That's the main causal factor. Social media has zero effect on this. If you don't want to understand this, you don't want to come to terms with this, you want to deny about what reality actually is, right? It's nothing to do with social media. I get ignored. To be fair, you should be picky. If you're sleeping with them or living with them, it's important to be careful. So this is a nothing comment. So he's replying to the gender neutral nothing comment like it's valid. First of all, if you could get a woman, you'll get with a woman, right? It's not men being picky. This is just the truth. It's women deselecting men for being low status. It's not even being picky. It's women. Women are actually not very picky. If you look at their mating habits, if the man has status, they'll breed with Harvey Weinstein. They'll breed with Jabba the Hutt. Elon Musk has impregnated like 12 different women or something like that. No, he's had 12 different kids with like 4 different women or something like that. He's bred loads of women, and he's not good looking, right? He's a mentally ill, unhealthy looking nerd, right? He's got impulse control issues, and he's a narcissist. Yeah, women are not picky. Women are not picky. They go for status, but if you don't meet that criteria, you get deselected. That's how it is. Standards are good, but being too picky isn't, in my honest opinion. So that means, so standards is when the women select me because I'm a good man. My standards are good, but when you ignore me and you bypass me, you're being too picky. That's what it means. That's all what it means, right? Okay. If they're being picky, that means they didn't want to get with men in the first place, right? I remember this YouTube video. I left a comment on and I got ignored, right? It was basically Japanese women doing hookup meeting groups with high status Japanese women to meet with high status Western guys. And I asked the question, why haven't you met a guy in your own country yet? And I didn't get an answer. It's because they don't give a fuck about men. They only give a fuck about what men can do. They only give a fuck about their status, right? They don't value men as human beings. Again, asking, who is being picky? Why use gender neutral language? The cope is unreal. That's 31 minutes ago. Yeah, they're using yeah. Who's being picky here? Who's being picky? They're using it's women deselecting them. And you don't like it. If they're being selected, because men are really solipsistic, if they're being selected by women, they won't be here. They won't care. They'll think, oh, the other men getting deselected are losers. Women go for good men like me. This is how men think, by the way. This is why men don't address these issues, by the way, or want to address them. Okay? And for example, you can't make women like men, but men need privileged access to the job market over women. Men and women are not the same. Women need the jobs more than women, basically. Now, here's another comment. You attract who you are in a relationship. This is the law of attraction brain rot. If you attract damaged women, that means there's some damage within you, right? So, okay, most human beings are neurotic on some level, right? Okay, so I'm not going to name names. I know a couple right now. One's damaged, one isn't damaged. One's very high functioning and normal, but he's a male, right? The other one isn't, but she's female, right? But he's taking what he can get, right? He's just happy to have a woman in his life. So you're gaslighting. Men take what they can get. Women are more fussy and more picky, more selective. Men are not, right? So if a man could get a quote unquote emotionally damaged woman who's attractive and that's their only option, the man will go for it, right? It's nothing to do with their emotional state, right? This is psychoanalysis babble, which deconstructing narcissism is into as well. Psychoanalysis is bullshit. Okay, it's actually an obfuscation on human psychology and overcomplicates things, and it doesn't understand basic cause and effect, right? Okay, if you attract damaged women, that means there's some damage within you. You may have to do some spiritual shadow work. So when people talk about spirituality, they're full of shit because it's vague and nebulous and can't be measured, and it's circular, right? So how do you know you've done spiritual shadow work or not? Whether you get a stable woman in your life. If you don't get a stable woman in your life, you haven't done the shadow spiritual work, right? This is brain rot nonsense. Spiritual people are low IQ and stupid, and you don't understand logic either. And release all that trauma within yourself before hopping onto a relationship. No, fuck off with that bullshit. So if a man is traumatized, he should be able to have a supportive woman who makes him feel better and have a relationship, right? So you're basically, and when relationships go wrong, you're just blaming him for having some fucking undefined trauma. Like Jesus Christ, you're an idiot. I'm really calling out hard because you're gaslighting men. Now the real legend is getting closer to the truth here. Oh, by the way, I'll reply to sup in some 5741. I'd say he's accusing him of talking gibberish because he is. He's doing spiritual waffle. When you're stuck in a dead end job, you're surrounded by low quality women. I think he's wrong here. When you start making money and exist in upper middle class circles, the women are all fit, friendly, and attractive. Wrong. Middle women are attracted, friendly, not attracted. They're more friendly to peer men in a social circle. More friendly, not friendly, more friendly, right? Okay. And what you're basically saying is, if you're low enough status, you got to pay to play. Women don't want to know you if you're low status, right? And your term low quality woman, it just means you're just talking about working class versus middle class women, right? More attractive women to you. That doesn't mean the low or high quality. It's a dehumanizing term, right? That should be used, right? And by the way, feminists use that against men now. That dehumanizing term is being used against us now. Low quality men. You're a low quality man, by the way, because you're on a deselected channel. You're in the eyes of women. You're a low quality man. I don't think you're a low quality man because I don't judge people by that. But you're a low quality man in the eyes of women. I'm just saying. You mean, and this is sometimes the comment. You mean shallow women? Money isn't everything. It can attract gold diggers or people just use you for your money and resources, and friends might just hang around you because of what you have, or they become superficial. This is a nonsense comment as well. This is a coke comment. Oh, you just avoid gold diggers, bro. This is a low IQ comment, right? I'm not like, it's obvious what hypergamy is, and most women are hypergamous, but even not all of them, right? But there's going to be, it's a spectrum. Hypergamy is a spectrum. There's going to be women lower down on the spectrum, but they're still very hypergamous. Even low spectrum hypergamy women, right? City Crusher left a comment. She lost feelings out of nowhere. Yeah, the girls aren't interested in men. Never have been. Once you come to terms with this fact, it all makes sense. Yeah, but men won't come to terms with this fact. Yeah. So there's a basic supply and demand imbalance in relationships between men and women, right? Men are unwanted. Men are not valued for themselves, right? Okay, like deconstructing narcissism. From what I can see, you're not a bad-looking person. You seem to be quite tall, right? You're not the best looking, but you're not ugly either. I'd rate you slightly above average. You're decent looking, right? Okay. Women don't care about that. Yeah, they honestly don't. You're living in your car. You're in a dead-end job. If you ever improve your life and get a better job, right, and you gain status, you gain some assets, your romantic prospects will improve. Yeah. So there was a channel called The Cult of Dusty. He was married to an unattractive wife. He had to settle for what he could get, right? And his YouTube channel blew up. Yeah. He became a minor E celebrity. Okay. I think it's called Cult of Dusty. It's years since I've seen his channel. Anyway, when he gained enough subs, women were messaging him out of the blue. He didn't have to make any effort into meeting women. They threw themselves at him. Okay? So, yeah, you just think about this. Use your brain. I know this sounds condescending, but these are very obvious things. These can be observed. I figured them out. Other people figured them out. I'm not a genius, right? But the thing is, I used to repeat some of the narratives that you've been repeating in the past. But when I thought about it or had it explained to me, and when I analysed the explanations and I thought about them, and when I realised they were right, I changed because I wasn't clinging on to them out of some emotional obsession. You're clinging on to them out of emotional obsession. There's some sort of ego reason why you're clinging on to these weird ideas. Social media hasn't done anything to women. It hasn't. It really, really hasn't. I'm sorry. It hasn't changed one goddamn thing in gender relations, right? Maybe it helps some slutty women to hook up with men easier. Maybe that's about it, which is good, to be honest. I actually wish women were sluts when they're actually not. But whatever. Okay, over and out.